What happened?
We was in an explosion. We was in the lobby and the third explosion, the whole lobby collapsed on us.
What was it like? What was it like?
Horrible.
It's like hell.
You don't want to know.
The whole building just collapsed on us inside the lobby.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the
Planet probably?
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion. Because we was inside waiting to go upstairs, and on the way upstairs, the whole fucking plane blew, and we just collapsed on everybody inside the lobby.
Similar to the first tower coming down, secondary?
I don't know about the first one, but I know the second one was terrible. Then there was a third one too after that one.
Third explosion after that?
That's right. Everybody was inside the building, waiting to go upstairs, and they just let loose. Everything just let loose inside the building.
So what you told me is that there was the plane or whatever hit the building, then the secondary explosion.
It was like 3 explosions after that. We came in after the fire. We came when the fire was going on already. We was in the staging area inside the building, waiting to go upstairs. Then it exploded. The whole lobby collapsed on the lobby inside.
And it was just mayhem after that?
Just man, everybody tried to make their way out.
Just trying to help all the brothers get out.
A lot of people trapped inside.
I was sitting in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, across from Brooklyn. We watched the first explosion. As we're watching the buildings, I saw a black, very large airplane fly right into the second building. It came out of the south, right in front of our eyes. It was so surreal, like a movie set.
Second and third explosions also, right?
We were in the building for the third one. It collapsed. I was on this drive here for the other one.
people that understand. There may be more. Any one of these fucking buildings could blow up. This ain't done yet.
This is on top of this. This couldn't be no worse than this. Couldn't be nothing no more worse than this. You're in the building trying to help people, and it's exploding on the inside the building. So I don't think it can get any worse than this.
Yeah, here's one of the guys who can tell you I'm okay, all right? Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something?
Be right now.
You gotta get back from here.
I
know that. You
gotta
get back. All right?
I know.
Don't worry about me. You need to make calls right now. All right.
Hours after the attack, many smaller explosions rumbled through downtown.
Because once the tower fell, you heard boom, 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 boom.
And we heard this boom, boom, boom.
They were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down.
So it was like boom, 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 like that.
And then it sounded like firecrackers. Crack, 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 crack. And we looked up, and the second tower was coming down.
There were numerous secondary explosions taking place in that building. There were continuous explosions.
She's been here a long time.
Arthur Del Bianco is one of the lucky few, able to tell a tale of survival from a hospital bed.
All of a sudden, it was like bang, 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 like bullet shots. And then all of a sudden, 3 tremendous explosions. And everything started coming down.
Del Bianco was at work in the doomed trade towers when they were attacked.
The force just pushed us to the ground. We were pushed up against marble slabs and other people and glass and the smoke. We were buried in that stuff.
He made it out with a broken leg and today was reunited with his wife.
We're hearing a number of large booms coming from that area. We can only guess what is going on.
I got an eyewitness who said there was an explosion on floor 7-8. 7-8. We just had another explosion. Warren Street because of the secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion. And we got another explosion on the tower, 1013 down with 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area. Who's involved in the secondary explosion?
Very high, and the lobby looked as though a bomb had exploded there. All the glass was taken out. There were 10-foot by 10-foot marble panels that were once walls. They were loose from the wall of the Trade Center.
I went around by the freight elevator and I could see it was just blown. It was just a giant 30th floor. We hear another explosion.
I think a bomb went off in the lobby first, then a plane hit the building. But then another plane hit the other building. But when I was coming through the doors on the other side of the Trade Center, either they blew the lobby up or something, because it blew the glass out of the doors and knocked us all down, and I got smoke and everything on me. I just feel a little shook up because I got blasted, so I'm just trying to, I want a drink of water. They don't have any water though.
Can you tell me what happened?
What'd you see?
I saw windows coming out of the building and the ceiling falling on the floor where I was walking. That's when we started heading for the exit. And
then we got downstairs.
We got to the first floor from 82nd floor.
And all of a sudden there was this big explosion. I don't know if
everything went
just like what you just seen. That's what we went through before we came out of the building. Then when we get out the building, then another smoke cloud came. Better go through that smoke cloud again. Mom, I just want you to know I'm all right.
The ladies that are with me were in the World Trade Center in the first building and escaped through the lobby where they report they believe there was a bomb in the lobby.
We ran down the steps to the lobby. There was no lobby. Everything was torn up. And even the turnstile was burnt and was sticking up, and they just told us to run.
My boss ran out of the office. He said one thing, run. Everybody just ran. And we ran down the stairs. They told us to come back up the stairs. And we were like, come back up the stairs, are you crazy? So we continued down the stairs. We came outside in the lobby. There was no lobby. The lobby was totally gone.
Did you see other people?
People, there was a woman there with her face blown off. And as we were coming out, we passed the lobby. There was no lobby. So I believe the bomb hit the lobby first, and a couple of seconds in the first plane.
Yeah, hi. I am just about between 5 and 10 blocks north of the actual site of where those two towers have come down. We're obviously having a bit of trouble right now maintaining our location because we just heard one more explosion. That's about the fourth one we've heard. The police are telling us they're either car bombs or they are simply cars that have overheated so much that they're exploding. But every time one of those happens, there's a flurry of activity.
It looks like a ghost town. There are federal agents with guns standing outside the federal buildings, clearing people out. The only thing left in the street are people's shoes as they ran out of their shoes to escape the fire bombs and the explosion.
This is actually, we believe, debris from one of the planes that hit one of the towers on the World Trade Center. The FBI is here, as you can see. They had roped this area off. They were taking photographs and securing this area just prior to that huge explosion that we all heard and felt.
Can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me?
This is Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. I'm sorry. Nicholas, you're on live, WB11 Morning News. Can you just tell us what you are seeing and witnessing, and where are you?
I'm in my house right now. I'm looking out the window. After the first explosion, I was just looking at the first tower, and I was just like, wow, you know, I was staring at it for a few minutes. And then I seen the second airplane. It was kind of close up to the building, and it looked like it really did know which way it wanted to go, and it crashed into the second Twin Tower building and caused a massive explosion, and I was just like, it was just completely stunning. I'm still hearing like little explosions all around, like around my block, but I don't know what's really going on. But it was definitely a second airplane.
What kind of explosions are you hearing? Do you know?
Just little dooms. I don't know. Maybe that could be like results from the building, but
right. Nicholas, can you just tell us exactly where you're located? Obviously, you're not in. Where are you in the vicinity of the World Trade Center?
Well, I'm in the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
Rick Sanchez has been there throughout this morning for us. Rick, tell us where you are and what the latest is.
Well, I'm in that area, if you're familiar with this area, of where West Broadway and Hudson come together, right at Chambers. That would put us about a block and a half away from the site of where the explosion was. That area has just been evacuated because police have found what they describe as a suspicious device, and they fear that it might be something that could lead to another explosion. Obviously, there's a real sense of caution here on the part of police. I spoke with some police officials moments ago, Chris, and they told me that they have reason to believe that one of the explosions at the World Trade Center, aside from the ones that may have been caused by the impact of the plane with the building, may have been caused by a van that was parked in the building that may have had some type of explosive device in it. So their fear is that there may have been explosive device planted either in the building or in the adjacent area.
The chief safety of the fire department of New York City told me that shortly after 9 o'clock he had roughly 10 alarms, roughly 200 men in the building trying to effect rescues of some of those civilians who were in there, and that basically he received word of the possibility of a secondary device, that is another bomb going off. He tried to get his men out as quickly as he could, but he said that there was another explosion which took place. And then an hour after the first hit here, with the first crash that took place, he said, there was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here. So obviously, according to his theory, he thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building. One of the secondary devices he thinks that took place after the initial impact was, he thinks, may have been on the plane that crashed into one of the towers. The second device he thinks, he speculates, was probably planted in the building. So that's what we have been told by Albert Turry, who is the chief of safety for the New York City Fire Department. He told me that just moments ago.
My name is Daenerys Guanega. I was walking to work and all of a sudden I see a jet crash into the first tower, and 2 minutes later an explosion, which a whole bunch of people, including myself, fell on this side of the sidewalk. And then I was standing there for like about 8 minutes later, and a second plane just crashed and exploded and hit the other building. Now, as you see, it's just the second tower fell. It's crazy. This is unbelievable. This is scary. I don't even know how to get home now.
We've heard reports of secondary explosions after the aircraft impacted, whether in fact there wasn't something else at the base of the towers that in fact were the coup de grace to bring them to the ground.
We want to go back to Marcia Kramer, who's in the newsroom, for a further update. Marcia?
Well, we have a number of updates. Number one, CNN is now reporting that there was a third explosion at the World Trade Center, probably an explosion from the ground that caused World Trade Center 1 to collapse on top of itself. Again, there was a third explosion. It's unclear what caused it, whether it was a bomb or whether the first plane that crashed into the tower had somehow been booby-trapped with a bomb that was timed to explode later after the crash had occurred. But CNN is reporting that there was a third explosion that caused World Trade Center 1 to collapse within itself and then collapse on other surrounding buildings.
I was standing at the corner of Barclay Street and Washington Street, which is about 1 block, and it's in the canyons around the World Trade Center, and it looked like a bomb went off, and a fireball must have shot right up the street because everything on the street was completely devastated. Vehicles were burnt out, windows were blown out. There's just debris from superstructures of buildings everywhere. I spoke with one firefighter who had been home this morning watching on television, as a lot of people probably were watching, and he was actually out on medical leave and saw it and got a call to come in and responded, and got here after the towers had collapsed, but was in the process of crawling in under that footbridge I was mentioning to pull out a fallen comrade. And his comrade was a firefighter, was trapped about 500 feet in under some debris down West Street, and he turned around and said he saw a police officer walking with him carrying a 9mm pistol, and he asked him what he was doing, and he said that there were people in the area that were planting bombs after the planes had flown into the tower, that the bombs apparently, and this is just going on what one firefighter told me, police believe that there were bombers that were in the area after the planes hit the towers planting bombs, and that may have been what caused the further devastation. Are you still with me?
Yes, we're listening to you, Joe. It's just unbelievable what you're telling us.
Explosion was something, because now there's a lot of police activity and sirens and more smoke rising from the ground, new smoke. So there was some kind of additional explosion, but I don't know what it was. Definitely. Smoke was rising from the ground. Maybe it was a federal building or something like that. Okay, sweetie, I'll call you later.
I try to save people. The moment we heard a big explosion coming down, everything just went black. Everything came down, glass started popping, and people got hurt, stuff went on top of them, and it was a big explosion, and everything got dark, real dark, like snow. You can see behind me, oh, this is not snow, this is all from the building. It was a terrible nightmare.
I was in the basement of the elevator. All of a sudden, it blew up. We heard a crash. The elevator opened up, The guy came out burning. I grabbed him. His skin was falling off. I dragged him out. I pulled him out of the parking lot and gave him to EMS.
Folks, back it up. Back it up. Take one. You're Kenny
Johanneman.
Spell your name.
Johanneman.
And you were working there?
Yes, I was right there. I was down in the basement. Came down. All of a sudden, the elevator blew up. Smoke. I dragged the guy out. His skin was hanging off, and I dragged him out and I helped him out to the ambulance.
Thank you. Right.
Big boom. Come down the steps. Everything fine until we got to the basement, and then everything just fell in. I got trapped under there with another guy. Crawled out. Kept getting hit in the head. Had bags floating around. Finally, we clawed our way out over the rubble.
Yeah.
Come on down. We did all right.
All right. Way to be, Tom. Let's go.
Everybody talks about what the new Trade Center is going to look like, but I'm telling you right now, the old Trade Center was the most beautiful thing in the world. It was a city in its own, and they made it that way. Those people that worked there made it that way.
For 7 years, 37-year-old Philip Morelli was a construction worker inside the Trade Center. The Queens native says he loved his job at the Twin Towers.
And there was always construction going on in the World Trade Center. There's a lot of floors. Between the two buildings, there was 110, so that's 220. And then you had 9 floors in building 4, 5, and 6. So there was always something going on, and we were always there.
And Phil was there the morning of September 11th. As always, he was on the site bright and early.
I got in at 6 o'clock in the morning. I went downstairs to, you know what I mean, we usually, our shanty is where we all dress, and, you know what I mean, we have coffee in the morning. I went down there, and as the guys were coming in, everybody's talking and, you know what I mean, laughing, talking about their night, the day before, the night before, who's talking about this, who's going to do this, who's going to do that.
At 8:30, he says he was headed to level B4 in Tower 1, 4 stories below ground.
I go downstairs, the foreman tells me to go to remove the containers. As I'm walking by the main freight car of the building, in the corridor, that's when I got blown. I mean, the impact of the explosion, of whatever happened, it threw me to the floor, and that's when everything started happening. It knocked me right to the floor. You didn't know what it was. Of course, you're assuming something just fell over in the loading dock, something very heavy, something very big. You don't know what happened, and all of a sudden you just felt the floor moving, and you get up, and the walls. And then, you know what I mean, now I'm hearing that the main freight car, the elevators, you know what I mean, fell down. So I was right near the main freight car, so I assumed what that was. Then, you know what I mean, you heard that coming towards you. I was racing, I was going towards the bathroom. All of a sudden, I opened the door, I didn't know it was a bathroom, and all of a sudden a big impact happened again. And all the ceiling tile was falling down, the light fixtures were falling, swinging out of the ceiling. And I come running out the door, and everything, the walls were down, and now I started running towards the parking lots.
Nearly 100 floors below where the first plane hit, Phil felt the devastating impact. But 4 levels below ground, he had no idea terrorists had done it on purpose. What did you think was going on?
I just thought something, because I know that the loading dock is on B1, that's 3 floors above me. I just assumed that a car or something exploded on B1, or something got delivered and something big and heavy fell over. You just knew it was something big, because, you know, I can't even imagine living in San Francisco or earthquakes, but when the floor is moving underneath you and everything is just happening and smoke and people screaming, then I never knew until when I got outside the building and I was running down the west side. That was the only time I ever heard about planes hitting the building.
But before he got out of the building, he faced obstacles underground.
As I ran into the parking lots, you know what I mean, everybody's screaming. I actually helped somebody get to a staircase that had a broken leg. There was a lot of smoke down there. There was a lot of people screaming. People came with us running up the ramps. We wanted to get help for the people that couldn't move down there. And as we were running up the ramps, and, you know, it's not like a regular mall that you're going straight up. You have to go, you know, you got to go clear across the whole from 1 to 2 World Trade Center. You know what I mean? That's the way you got to run. And then all of a sudden it happened all over again. Building 2 got hit. And then, again, I don't know that. I just know something else hit us to the floor. Right in the basement, you felt it. Walls were caving in, everything that was going on. I mean, I know of people that got killed in the basement. I know of people that got broken legs in the basement. People that got reconstructive surgery because the walls hit them in the face. And I know, I love seeing everybody every day that survived it and was there. And I just hear everybody's story. and it was terrible. No matter where you were in that building, there was no safe place to be except to get out, help as many people as you can, and just try to get out, because there was devastation everywhere.
The 37-year-old says he lost a lot of friends in the building, colleagues, Port Authority officers, and clients. That's why he's helping to rebuild. Currently, he is a part of a crew repairing the Verizon building, heavily damaged in the collapse. In his pocket, he carries around a little piece of motivation that keeps him going. A Cub Scout letter that he received inside a pair of gloves donated to the recovery effort at Ground Zero.
And I went to put my hands in the glove, and I took out this letter that was inside the gloves, and it says, "Your hands are doing what ours cannot."
He spent 5 years working in the Trade Center complex and was in the basement of Tower 1 when the first plane hit, sending a fireball down the elevator shaft 10 feet away.
All of a sudden, the whole floor, the whole building just rocked. It just rocked and threw you, and just threw you. You didn't know what happened. I get up, and all you hear, now all you hear is, now you feel is heat. You hear heat. It blew me going into the doors of the parking lot. Then all of a sudden the heat, and it just came blowing through, and the heat that you felt was so terrible, and the explosion that happened, it was knocking down the walls, the ceilings were falling, the block walls were caving in, steel doors just looked like paper. Then there's silence. Then there was all there was silence, and then after a couple of seconds, you're getting up off your knees, and now you hear silence, and it's a dead calm of dust and smoke, and all of a sudden you hear people slowly. Somebody starts screaming, someone starts yelling, someone starts saying. You're hearing help, you're hearing please, you're hearing one at a time. You're hearing it. And people you see burnt, and everybody's hurt, and you're just getting, and it's smoke, and you're just going over the building too, and you just feel like you're just going to get up and just, I know the building, you just feel like you're just going to get up the staircase, everybody's going to go up the staircase and leave. All of a sudden, here we go again, building 2 gets hit. I couldn't get into building 2, if the doors, nothing would open, it just felt like something, like compressed it was strange. It was just, you couldn't even push doors. We're running up the ramps, and things you hear elevators coming, screeching. It's like a missile coming towards you. When you hear a 10,000-pound, 20,000, 40,000-pound elevator coming down the shaft, now I don't know what that is. I just think now you're getting invaded. You're just being invaded. Everything's just coming at you. The world is coming to an end. You don't know what's going on. You just keep hearing these things shooting down the shaft. You're hearing people screaming. Then all of a sudden you don't hear them screaming. You know the wall. You know they just died. Whatever was over there just died. It was just silence. And then we come running up and down. We're running up and down the ramps, because there's ramps and there's long runs. And then finally, we finally see a panic door. We're coming outside, and it's the West Side Highway. Everybody's screaming. No, you don't even know you have no concept of what's going on above you. All I know, I'm just speaking for what I know, is there's 110 floors above my head that all you see is people that you don't know, but they jumped, people that jumped, and you're seeing people that things happen to, crushed cars. You're seeing everything that have flames of fire coming down. Now you're saying to yourself, you know what I mean, do you stay here or do you just make a run for it? You don't even know what the hell to do. And we all made a run for it, and all of a sudden we're running down the West Side Highway. And now you think you died 3 times. Now all of a sudden you're out on the West Side Highway after all this is over, and then people are screaming, the building's coming down. And then all of a sudden you feel the rumbling of the floor down the West Side Highway. You just think something's gonna fall on you. You just think you're gonna die. I still cannot believe those 2 buildings are not there. That day when I saw dust, I was hoping to God when that dust was over, I was hoping to God that buildings were still standing there. And I stood there until the dust, you know what I mean? But then all of a sudden the dust started going one direction, started going the other direction, and we were full of dust, and we were crying, and all of a sudden the buildings weren't there no more.
There was an explosion. We're on the support floor, which is a basement. Guy came in running. All his skin was out of his body.
Oh my God!
All his skin was out of his body. We took him out. We ran out. We heard a lot of rumbling. I went back in. There was a lot of smoke. We went up by the stairs with the Port Authority police to start rescuing people. A lot of people were coming out, but there was a lot of people that stayed there. We brought a lot of people on wheelchairs and a lot of people on gurneys, all people that couldn't make it because there was no elevator service. The elevator went out. While we were there, we heard an explosion, and it was on the radio. We were told that it was the 65th floor collapse. So at that moment, we couldn't continue going up. As it is, when I came out, there were still firemen there before the building collapsed. There were people on the 34th floor, on the 36th floor, 37th floor, and 39th floor. And we're talking about 30 firemen.
That were up on those floors?
That were on those floors.
When it collapsed?
When it collapsed. So I don't know what happens to them. I know the officer that was helping me. We don't know what happened to him. This officer Lim from the Port Authority Police. We have no contact with him. I've been looking for him. While we came out on the floor, on the lobby, there were still people on the floor, dead on the floor. There was a person encrusted on the floor. That's how big the impact was. As soon as we came out, we heard that the building was falling. We started running. We went inside, right under the fire trucks because there was nowhere to go. Me and another 3 firemen, we went in under one of the fire trucks, and everything fell on top of it. So we almost get crushed over there. We were taken out of the truck.
Well, tell me a little bit about the emotional impact that this has had on you, witnessing what you did.
I was on when the bombing happened years ago, and this is the worst I ever seen. Doesn't compare at all. We're talking about the worst thing I ever seen in my life. Nothing compares to it. And when I look up and I see that the building is gone, it's just like I'm totally in shock. There's no way to describe it. And the kind of people that probably still up there, was still up there, it just kills me because I know they couldn't make it. I worked the whole tower from the 107th floor all the way down, and I know they couldn't make it.
Do you know anything about the cause of the explosions that brought the 2 buildings down yet? Was it caused by the planes or by something else?
We believe that it was caused by the after effects of the planes hitting the buildings. We don't know of an additional explosion afterward.